Right, once you've done your letters from your perspective a couple of weeks ago, you then have done your whole name or a last name or a nickname, going to the same vanishing point. You've then done 1 point perspective, but you've also done 2 point perspective last week. Now this is what we're going to be checking, all of these pieces of work when we come back to school. So make sure you've done them, and you've practiced them. It doesn't have to be spot on. I'd rather see your practices. Now, your 2 point perspective, think about what's the difference between 1 point perspective and 2 point perspective. How do you start drawing 2 point perspective differently? You're going to be quizzed on these in a week's time, so you're going to be doing quiz via forms. You're also going to be drawing 2 point perspective from a slightly higher viewpoint. Okay, so we can see the tops of the roof here of some of these buildings, whereas the one from last week, we couldn't see the top of the buildings. We could see the sides, sure, but we can't see the roof on any of them. So I'm going to guide you through how to draw a bird's eye view kind of stance from 2 point perspective. So we're a bit higher up, we're looking down on these buildings. Think about it if you've been on the Shard, or you've been on the London Eye, or you've just been in a building that's quite high up, maybe in a flat, and you've looked down onto other buildings. You can see the roof. So we're going to start it off. Think about this. Is this 1 point perspective or 2 point perspective? Two-point perspective. Good. So, as normal, drawing a horizon line across your page. You'll need a whole page for this. And your horizon line needs to be quite high up, because we're going to be drawing underneath the horizon line for this. If you want to see the roof of buildings, you need to have them all underneath the horizon line. They're not going to go above it. So, vanishing point 1 and 2, label. You're then going to start like you did last week, where you have one corner of the building drawn below, sort of in the middle, and you're going to join the bottom up to vanishing point 1 and the top to vanishing point 1, and you're going to do the exact same to the other side to vanishing point 2. Try not to press too hard. I know a certain few of you press very, very hard normally, and we need to get rid of that, because otherwise it's going to be visible when we rub it out later. So don't press too hard. We're then going to split up. We can see that we've got the left-hand side of the building, we've got the right-hand side of the building. Okay, so it's almost like a cube, almost. We're then going to split it up, because this is going to be a row of shops this side, and like last week, we're going to have a row of shops that side. So straight line, this ruler is straight up and down the page. It's not wonky. We're going to have a thinner building there, a longer building there, and then I'm going to stop, because they're not going to go all the way into the distance. I'm then going to do the same on this side. So this building here on the corner, I'm going to complete that cube there, almost a cube. Straight lines only. I don't want to see wobbly lines. Can have a thin one there. Right, now this is where it gets tricky. All of you will need to start by looking at this longer line here, the first one you drew in. You're going to go to the right one. The top of that we're going to join up to the opposite vanishing point. So that is this one, the right hand side, is vanishing point 1. So line up and draw a neat line that way. You're then going to do the same. So go back to the middle line, the first line you've drawn, go to the left, and the top of that line there, we're going to join it up with vanishing point 2. So line it up with this vanishing point over on the right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this building here, that's done. essentially. You can see that if you walk through doors on here, we're inside a building. There's a building here. We can see the roof, the left-hand side and the right-hand side wall. We then need the others, but we're going to do it so there aren't going to be loads of shops over here. It's just going to be one row here and one row here. So we're going to start with the right-hand side. Go to the next line along at the top. We're going to line it up with the opposite vanishing point, which is vanishing point 1 over here. And instead of drawing the line all the way across, we're just going to do it within this section here. So line up and then draw in your roof. Okay? Do it to the next one. So the next line up at the top, put your pencil, line it up with the opposite vanishing point, which is vanishing point 1. And then just draw your line across. Next one, top of the line, line it up with the opposite vanishing point 1, draw it across. Okay? If I rub these out, and you don't have to yet, you can do it at the end if you prefer. If I rub these out, you can see that these are shops that do look like they're going into the distance a bit, because this one is bigger than any of these down here. Keep your vanishing point in, both of them. And then we're going to do the other side. So the left hand line up here. Go to the top, line up with the opposite vanishing point, which is vanishing point 2. So get your ruler, line it up, and then just go between those two lines. Next one. Next one. Done. Now, we are going to be giving you an extra challenge here. So, still keeping your vanishing point, your horizon line. Your page should look something like this. Later on, you're going to be adding doors and shop signs, that's it. But the extra challenge is making some of these buildings taller, like you did last week. So, those that did the extra challenge last week, and you had some of your buildings here much taller than the others, than this normal line. You had one taller, at least one of them taller. That was the extra challenge. You're then going to do the same today. So we're going to have something that looks a little bit like this. Okay, you'll notice that the one that's above the horizon line, so this is the horizon line here, remember, where the land meets the sky in the distance. If we draw lines, if it goes above the horizon line, we can't see the roof. But if they're below the horizon line, like these two, we can still see the roof, and they're a little bit larger than the ones next to them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you can, then go for it. Brilliant. Let's remind ourselves how we did it last time. So we made the lines much taller. So the 3 lines, so the 2 at the front, I'm going to show you how we did it last week to start with, so choose one. And we're also going to choose the line, so this is the front of the shop, we're extending, making nice and tall. I'm going to get rid of the lines in the middle. I'm then going to extend the line that is the side of the shop. So the corner of that I'm going to make taller as well. Now, like last week, if I'm going to do it above the horizon line, we're not going to see the roof. So let's see. The middle line, we're going to go to both directions. And then here is our building. Rub out any extra lines on the sides and in the middle. Can't see through that building, so I'm going to get rid of that. And there is our taller building there. However, we're not doing the extra challenge task for today. We need to still see one that is tall enough that we can still see the roof. So, I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to extend the front lines. So if I'm thinking of this as the shop front, I'm going to extend the lines of the side of that building. Just a bit, I'm not going to go above the horizon line. I'm going to rub out what's in between. Make sure that's back in, there we go. And then I'm going to extend the one that is, if I go along this one, this is the side of the building. So we want this one to be taller too. So again, extend that a little bit and rub out in between. Middle line goes to both vanishing points again. I'm going to make it this height. I'm going to go to vanishing point 1. I'm going to stop about there. And I'm going to go to vanishing point 2 from that middle line. So we get the right angle. Now, because it looks like a bit of a V at the top, it's got this kind of shape at the top. We're then going to be able to see the roof, but we can't see it yet, there's nothing there. So what we're going to do, the two sides we're going to flip to the opposite vanishing point. So if we go to the left hand side line here, we're going to go to the right vanishing point number 2. The right hand side line, we're going to go to vanishing point number 1. So line them up. And there is our roof. I'm going to get rid of any longer lines, make it nice and neat. I'm going to go over that a bit darker so it stands out. There we go. And then if you'd like, you can start shading in sides or the tops to make it stand out. Go for bright colours if you want to, or go realistic, entirely up to you. Like a brick colour or a cement colour. You're then going to be adding on the signs like we did last week, and by doing that we go from the vanishing points again. So I'm going to do the doors first. I'm going to go from that vanishing point and go towards this middle line. A nice light line there. The top of it is our doors, so I can see that that door line there, that's the perfect angle. I've got to keep that in. A couple of you had really wobbly side lines for the door, so it looked like you weren't using parallel lines, and the parallel lines make it look realistic. So you've got to keep these side lines for the door absolutely straight, so use your ruler straight to the page. And that's the one that's wobbly. There we go. You can then do the signs. It's exactly the same. We go to the middle line, which is this one here, the first one that we ever drew on. And then we're going to draw on these signs from the vanishing point on that side. You can turn them into windows, shop signs, balconies. Those are a bit darker there for you, so you can see. Okay, so you're going to be doing that on both sides. Now that'll only take you an extra sort of 5 minutes to add on those details. We don't need roads or anything like that. I am interested in how you draw these buildings, whether you've done the extra challenge or not, and how well you've actually done it. Do I need to do another lesson on it? Okay, so this is really important for me to see. Now your work will need to be emailed in to me as soon as it's done. So take a photograph and share it to email, and then send it to me via my Harris Wimbledon address, which will be found on your lesson folder on Virtual School. All right, good luck, have fun.